Hey guys, I'm Boo. We're in New Jersey, and today we are going back into the 600-pound lies that have been told all over television and the internets. And here with us today, of course, as always, my lovely wife, Allie. Allie, let everybody know where they can find you at.
You can find me at Allie S on YouTube or Allie_Sams on TikTok.
And as well, also to take this deep dive into the final remains of this episode, we can finally put this to bed. My good buddy Kyle from Connecticut. Kyle, let everybody know where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me in a multitude of places. I am on YouTube as a part of Who They Want Podcasts LLC. We also are on everywhere you get your podcast fix. So your iTunes, your Apple Apple Podcast, your Spotify's, your Anchor.fm, etc. I also do a bunch of podcasts under On the Brain ENT, which you can find everywhere you listen to podcasts. I also do a mental health centered podcast called A for Able, where we speak about mental health as well as living with a disability, any kind of disability. And you can also find that everywhere you listen to podcasts. And recently I started another YouTube channel, just sharing just random stuff. So you can find that under Kyle Eric.
Alrighty, guys. So let's go ahead and check out our first piece of video here, starting from 1 hour and 8 minutes and 15 seconds and going to 1 hour and 12 minutes and 19 seconds. A lot to talk about in this episode, so let's get cracking. So we just saw basically the nutritionist come to her house and go through a couple of food items and tell her how to portion those items. Oh, that's right. That's what she said she was going to do and didn't actually do. What she did was she basically fat shamed her for groceries that they told her to buy, right? Like they made her buy cheese and they made her buy chocolate milk. She didn't drink milk. She didn't drink chocolate milk. So, what's the deal?
They made her buy the bad stuff for this scene in particular, right?
Right.
As we've already stated, they had her buy fast food and junk food and all that stuff on purpose for the sake of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want to know, what are those credentials of this so-called nutritionist? Anybody know?
No
idea.
How legit is she? That's what I
don't know.
No clue. She could have been just somebody who swung in to do it like at a moment's notice, like a home health aide or something.
It really seemed like they were there for however long they filmed. They, like you said, they did not show her portion control. It just showed it just showed the crap food. Right. So it's very interesting how this was not a two-parter, because they're leaving in a lot of holes. You know what I mean? So,
and also, she doesn't really even know what she's talking about, that lady, because fat-free is the worst thing you can eat.
And this is exactly why I'm asking.
If you're telling somebody about fat-free, and fat-free is really bad for you.
Fat-free, it seemed more and more like a marketing ploy to get people to buy it.
So does light. When you really think about it, they say everything that's light or whatever, while it's better for you than the regular, it's still not as good for you.
Diet.
Right, or diet, exactly. And that is a really big problem that we have in the United States. A very big problem. So that was month 9, which we all know it wasn't month 9.
No.
When she got weighed, she was at 543. Now, I believe that she may have lost a good chunk of weight while she was there in the very short time, that they filmed this. Because at that point she was losing weight, pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said before, it was very hot there. So, to be outside and, take the dog out or anything like that would be remarkable exercise just because it was so hot there. So I don't doubt at all that she did lose weight while she was there. This has her starting the show, according to their numbers, she went from 614 to 608 to 586 to 543 at this point. Now, they're saying it was 2 months at that point, but it was more like days again between this doctor's appointment. So she lost, they said, 64 pounds, which in all honestly, it was like 71 pounds. Within like 2 months, they had her lose this weight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but these numbers, you don't even know. There's no way.
Yeah, it's so fudged. The numbers are so fudged.
You can't even go by anything anyway. Exactly. You can't go by a number because their numbers have been messed up since the very beginning.
Right.
So this took us a couple times to go through the numbers, but the realistic point is that those numbers don't mean anything.
Right.
Because we don't know what her real starting weight was because they fudged everything for so many times she was on the scale.
Right. And it was like they would call her and then within a few days they would call her again to come in and film. And so this was at the doctor's office. And she was just being weighed. Now we're going into the doctor's office. So let's head over to that. Okay, so first off, the doctor just said twice 10 months, right? But this was 9 months, supposedly. So that's the first thing. Also, I noticed in this, Gina is not turning red. She's not having trouble speaking because she's not lying. She's being completely truthful. This is her weight. This is where her weight's been. And that's the difference between the other scenes where you see her get red or make a face or, whatever, or laugh even because she's nervous. And it's like she's nervous because they have her lying left and right. This was the first time that she actually saw a positive outcome, number one, and didn't have to bullshit her way through the experience. And that's just, where I see it from.
I know we're at the tail end at this point. We know what's going to happen next. I am just going to reiterate what I've said in previous recordings. They set her up to fail.
Yeah.
That's it. They set her up to fail because that was the narrative they were going with. They didn't want a success story to start the season. They wanted the extra drama, right? And so recently I saw one of these clips uploaded to the network's UK channel, right? And it was only I think it was 2-3 months ago. I didn't look at the comment section this time because I didn't want to mess myself up. You know what I mean?
Right.
Every time I look at the comment section, it's pretty much more of the same. Yes, she does have support, but the ones that you see the most are the negative comments. And people that act like they know. So this is just more of more of the same, except this time it was genuine because they were they were waiting for this negative, positive, and then we're gonna just go right back down.
Right.
So once again, they set her up for failure, much like they've done to other cast members, and I'm hoping that because we gotta help this reach. We gotta help this reach out a bit more. You know what I'm saying? We're doing everything that we can on our own. We gotta have this reach a wider audience, so they know it ain't about the clicks or the watch minutes or whatever. It's about getting to the truth.
Yeah.
So absolutely. Anybody out there who's watching this, please share it with whomever.
Everywhere. Everywhere.
And thank you for the support. And if you're out here still naysaying, you got a right to your opinion, but we have the proof to back it up. So we're just gonna let you know. And if you continue to not believe, that's once again your right.
Your prerogative.
That is your prerogative. That is completely your prerogative. But don't believe everything that you see on TV. Okay? Don't believe everything that you read, and please don't believe everything that you research yourself.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sometimes that's even worse.
I mean, that makes it harder and harder to be, to be factual. It really, it really does. But anyway, that's my take on it. That is my take on it. Just repeating the same stuff I've been saying since the beginning. They've set her up for failure.
Yeah. What do you think, Al?
I think it's atrocious that a world-renowned surgeon can look into the camera and lie. I think it's atrocious how they told her that she was going to get surgery. She called us. We were like, how is this happening? You were denied medical insurance. And she's like, they're going to figure it out.
It's only been a couple months.
And she was so happy. And then they make her film the next scene. Later that day. And it's like, how do you do that to a person? How do you do that? How does that, like, what do you get out of it? Oh, because now millions of people are gonna just be like, oh, well, she's just a fat person who, of course, was eating food. Like, what do you get out of it? Was that just that pure entertainment? Was that just for pure entertainment? Because you did to her what she had experienced without your fucking show. I don't understand. I cannot wrap my head around how this is allowed, how this is entertaining. I don't understand the obsession that people have with fat people. I don't understand. And it's at the expense of my sister, who, you're right, Keith, she was not at all anxious in that part because she genuinely was told that she was going to have the surgery.
Yeah.
And in fact, they told her it was going to be in like a week.
Yeah.
And we were all scrambling around because we didn't know how we were going to get to Texas in a week to be there for her surgery.
Right.
They were telling us how many people could be in the waiting room. They were giving her all this information on how it would go down. And then they call her and they say, I'm sorry, Gina, but we are going to lie and say that you've gained weight and we're going to make you drive to the hospital. We're going to make you get a fake IV. We're going to make this act as if it was 3 months later. We're going to do this to you because that is what the higher ups wanted. That is what the producers saw happening. And every single motherfucking commenter was like, yes, of course she didn't. She's dumb. She's lazy. They don't understand. And then she dies. She's dead. And it's acceptable for this to live on in the friggin' world. It's acceptable for these lies to continue to exist. There's nothing I can say or do that is going to change people's minds And I know everyone has hope. Everyone's trying to tell me, but this is good. This is important. They screwed her. I'm so disgusted. I'm sad.
All right, let's jump to the next section. In the first place, she mentions that her getting out of the house, this is her at the grocery store. She just went through the grocery store and had this experience. In the beginning, she talks about having time away from Beth and doing things on her own has been the center of her therapy appointments as of late. What therapy appointments? She
Which
never
we
had
never
any.
see. Yeah.
Right.
We never see them. Like we saw an introduction to an appointment, but we didn't see any progression.
Right.
So I'm wondering, was that okay? So if she was in constant communication with you guys, did she ever talk about, did she ever talk about any more appointments outside of the one that we see?
Yeah, no, they
No,
couldn't
there wasn't.
afford it. They would have to pay. They didn't have medical insurance. They weren't in Texas long enough to obtain medical insurance.
Oh yeah, okay. So once again, there's the hole in the logic. Where are these appointments? Why are we not seeing them? Oh, it's only because it's an hour and a few minute show.
Right.
Yeah, they're just acting as if you should know because it's in the script they wrote that she's having therapy appointments.
All right. To kind of lighten this a little bit, because I know this is a lot of downers and stuff. I just have to say, of course, after however long it's been since Gina has been out of the house like this on her own. She was with a camera crew, so she wasn't alone. But, the first time she goes into a grocery store, of course, she knocks over the sunglass display. You know what I mean? Like, of course that's the thing that happens.
Or, of course, it's the thing they air because they just want to continue on the train of exploiting her.
Right.
So.
Absolutely. I get that, too. But who is the writer for this show? Because there's so many temptations in the produce aisle.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
she's being surrounded by lettuce and carrots and shit.
Who wrote that?
Yeah.
We know that G would not have wrote that if she was allowed to write her own narration.
Right,
So,
exactly.
Like who wrote? There's so much temptation. Now I can't. I don't have any eating disorder of any kind. And I know that everybody's different, but that does not sound like her at all. And call me biased if you want to. That does not sound like Gina. That sounds like someone else's words.
But it doesn't even make sense, even regardless with who it would be. Why would you put that line in the script while she's in the produce section? Yeah. Make her drive down a snack aisle and put that line in. It would make more sense then.
Right. Well, that's on the producers. They should have known better. They should have made her go through the snack aisle.
As she's literally putting carrots and bell peppers in her cart.
There's so much temptation.
So much temptation in the produce section.
If she was a vegan...
I don't know. Maybe they need to get new editors because clearly they can't even edit.
Right. The other thing that we're gonna touch on here too, because again they did this again. They made it. They said basically she's so tired from riding in a cart, making her look stupid, explaining her weight, with stereotypes.
Yep.
Just, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know. No, that's not it at all. She could totally do this. There was no problem there.
So then I guess it's fair to say they clearly need a new script writer as well.
Right, exactly. So if you're looking for work, somebody get on this. Actually, the show is canceled now or whatever. Or,
I bet you that's not even true.
it could be just hype to get it moving for the next season or whatever, but
Now, all the millions of people that love to make fun of fat people are not going to let that show go off air.
Yeah, and plus, even if it was canceled, you still have streaming.
yeah.
You know,
Never going to go away. It's
Yeah.
always going to be there regardless.
not seeing anything about it being canceled, just seeing a bunch of stuff about the show and about like the different places you can stream it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I think the hottest thing on the article stream is probably updating about the case. That's very much an active thing, and also who's died now from this
Right.
show.
the last update that has anything to do with that has cancellation in the title is an article from April after the doctor got fired.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. I that's
Yeah.
the article, the only article I've ever left a comment under.
Yeah.
But I haven't looked at it since then to see if I've even gotten response, because they're
Right.
all the comments on that thread were just like they had hard-ons for the doctor.
Yeah.
Well, she made a Looper article. My 600-pound life stars you may not know passed away.
Wow.
No fun.
That's terrible.
What a fun list to be on.
And
Yeah,
she's
really.
the thumbnail.
Of
Oh,
course she
Of
is.
course.
Thank you, whoever you are, you stupid fucks.
Yep. Anyways, with all that said, I think we're
We need to
going to
finish this
jump to the
shit.
next part. Yes. We're going to jump to our section here. The next section I'm going to show is going to have a clip from the show. So for everybody who's been foaming at the mouth, there won't be a clip, it'll just be a frame. But in this frame, it's very telling. So anyways, let's jump over to that. Okay, people foaming at the mouth, here we are. An hour and 22 minutes and 52 seconds. You can clearly see there that there's a hat on that person's head. So you're
Oh.
telling me, yeah, exactly. You can clearly see that's the bill of a hat right there. That would be somebody else standing on the scale trying to pump the weight up. And if you notice, it moves just right where all you can see is the black hat and a black shirt.
Where do you see a black
scene,
shirt?
when this scene goes forward. So I'm not going to play this scene on here,
But
I
they've
just wanted to show
also
that is a hat right there. That's
they've
not hair.
also put camera equipment on there.
Right, exactly. To make her weight higher. And that's what I'm saying. There's the reflection right there.
People would argue that it's the IV bag or
Yeah, well, they can argue whatever, but I see a totally different person in that reflection. That's not Gina right there. So, there's your proof. And you can rewind that and fast forward it as many times as you want, but you're going to see the same thing. That's not Gina in that reflection. And that is not a doctor. That is not a nurse with a hat on. That's camera crew. Or producer. Whoever it was. So there's your proof. For all the people frothing at the mouth for anything to be shown, this is what we're going to show. And that's it. Okay, guys, so that was a lot of things happening there. We got to see basically the lie of the weight on the screen, the reflection of the scale. That is, so dead on for me. I'm just so disgusted, seeing that. And knowing that in that moment, she wasn't disappointed with herself because of weight gain.
no, she was disappointed because that's what they wrote and made her say.
Yeah.
You gotta remember something. She's saying she's disappointed because it's probably a line that they fed her
Yeah.
since they knew that they were doing this to her when they called her and said for her to come in less than 24 hours later that he told her she was having surgery
Yeah.
and to tell her they're going with oh, you're not having surgery.
Yeah.
And then they filmed the stupid pottery thing after that, but made it look like it was before.
Yeah.
So no, if you are from that show and you come across this in the future, you're not the heroes, okay? The doctor is not the hero. You did nothing for my sister at all. You did not provide her the help that she deserved. You did not provide her with the proper protocol for weight loss surgery. You are not the hero. You are people that care about money, and you exploit fat people and their families. You care about the dollars and the ratings. You don't care about the human. And that's the fucking truth. This last part of this show is a knife through my heart. How dare you make her say that if she didn't get the surgery, she wouldn't live much longer? How dare you? How dare you say her track record? How dare you look in the camera and say she had progress when you knew it was less than 24 hours later and she would never lose 75 pounds in less than 24 hours? How dare you? You used her because you wanted to get another episode out of her to line your pockets with money.
Damn right.
And thank God she was smart and declined another episode. Thank God. But you do not get to call yourselves the hero, because you are not. You are not. They're not. This is absolutely disgusting. It is probably was extremely traumatic for my sister.
I wouldn't even say probably.
It was.
I'd say it was definitely
like most
traumatic.
definitely.
Definitely traumatic. Ultimately, them leading to her death.
I can't. I really cannot understand. I really cannot understand how they have the audacity to say all of this when they knew it was based on lies. And then when she dies, to say that their deepest sympathy is with our family? Are you kidding me?
Well, they gotta save face, you know.
But I don't care about them saving face. I can't believe this is legal. I can't believe that because she signed a contract, this was allowed to go down and they get no ramifications.
Yep.
So now I have a sister who's dead. I have a trauma from this, and I don't get to live the rest of my life because with my sister being here, because she's not here anymore. But you continue to air her episode. You continue to get money, and you continue to spread the lies about my family and my sister. I know people don't care. I know people don't like her, and I know people don't like me. And I really, you know what? I don't know how any sane human being can consider this being a completed episode. I watched this today before we started recording this, and I broke down, and I did not even want to record today. I have not stopped shaking this entire time. I know I wanted to be my sister's voice, but it has been so many weeks that we've done this, and now that it's over, it just hurts me even more. It just proves how bad I don't even know. I can't even. I can't stop shaking. I can't even. This is just a lot. This is so much, and I can't believe that this was on national television. I can't believe people that knew nothing about me or my sister or my family watched this and formed an opinion. I can't believe the people that claim they knew us, that hated us for reasons that they think they knew, watched this and were probably like, good, they deserve that. Good, they deserve that. Why is that even on my mind? That shouldn't be on my mind. I'm trying so hard to be my sister's voice. I'm trying so hard to get her truth out there. But I feel like Kyle said earlier, this needs to get out there. This needs to get in front of people. And I can only do so much. We can only do so much. And, I have to accept that nothing's going to change. I have to accept that this isn't going to make an impact. Maybe that's just me being negative. Maybe Keith won't even keep this in. But he's worked really hard on this. Kyle's worked hard on this. And I've tried to lay everything out as much as I could while I'm still grieving the loss of my sister. I was honest. I told the truth. I told her truth with this. But this whole entire process has taken a piece of me that I don't know if I'll ever get back. And it's all hitting me right in this moment. Don't ever be on a reality TV show. That's my advice to anybody. Get lawyers. Do your research. Get training in the media, whatever. Do not go into this blind. Whatever it is. It doesn't have to be in this situation. It could be in any situation. But if you are not familiar with entertainment business, please heed my warning and do not do it. It is not worth the mental trauma to you or your family. It's not worth it. I'm gonna shut up now. This really sucks. There's so much pain I have for my sister. I could feel her heart breaking. Glad you guys can talk. I'm just gonna sit here and cry. It's not like any other episode where I cry. Babe, stop making faces. You're just gonna cut all of it out anyway. Or you're not. And just leave me crying the rest of my life on the internet.
Honey. It's terrible.
I mean, it's real.
It is.
No.
It's real. It's raw emotion. It's not.
What do you?
It's not like it's not palpable. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's the thing. It's so palpable that it's just that raw emotion, and you know it's understandable. Absolutely.
The point was to shed light on lies. You know what I mean? And that was a, you know, and you shouldn't, you know, feel any other way than how you're feeling right now. Like, really, you know, this is unfortunately this is her story, and you guys were kept in the dark for 2 years. So, like, you know, you weren't allowed to really say anything. Had you have had, you know, had this, had we had exposed this like after it came out,
Oh yeah.
and not 2 years later, man, you best believe they'd be knocking on your door, but you'd be there. You'd be there with pride, be like, listen, this is what you did to my family. You have done this to other people, to other people's families, and we're not taking this anymore. If you guys had done this the year that this came out before, before all this other stuff, because it just added to it, then there would be a huge. I have no doubt that there would be so many, like so many articles and stuff written about it, and people would be second guessing themselves watching this, whether they're watching it for, for educational purposes, or if they're watching it just to watch it as as a fan. Point is, you would second guess yourself if this were to come, if this what we're doing were to come out around the time that it happened. Now it's 2 years later, and while there's a lot still happening with the show, with the franchise, because unfortunately this is also franchised worldwide. There's different versions of it depending on where you live. Yeah. It makes you really really think. Why would you dare call yourself an educational show, and all you're basically doing is shaming the person? It took me everything I had not to say something to a fan who who's also a friend of mine. They didn't say anything in particular about an episode. They just say that the show is crazy. And in my head, I'm like, if only you knew. And it's not even what you're thinking. You're probably thinking it's crazy because of the people they have up there. No, it's crazy because of the people that they have behind the scenes.
Oh yeah.
They say the truth is stranger than fiction. So what happens when you're fabricating something and calling it truth? Nowadays, the term fake news would be all over the place. Fake news, right?
Right.
And this show apparently has been around since 2012. So imagine if it got exposed, then.
Man, it would have been a huge thing to blow up.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and then the network would have taken a huge blow to everything. I don't know why they changed their
not without dragging us through the mud, I'm sure, at that point.
Yeah, man. I really it does not make any sense to me. Like, why would you mess around with people's lives like this? Like I said, if this was a drama, a soap opera, in the same vein as a normal daytime soap or something, then I can understand, them scripting things out and having them say certain things because it's fake.
Right? Of course.
But these are people who, with no acting background, which at least from the little bit that I have seen, nobody that I have watched has had any ties with the entertainment industry. You know what I'm saying? This show's been going on for a long time, so there's no doubt that there's at least somebody with an interest, or somebody who had one, and then they just did a thing about them. But I digress. Point being, this makes more sense as a fictional story as it does a more than it would a reality. Stop putting reality up there. The only thing that seems to be reality are the fact that you're using people that do not act. At least for these shows, we have other people that have had acting jobs. But if I feel like I'm going on a tangent again, but you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Exactly. All right. With that said, I think that's a good place to close here. It's been a a good run so far. We've had a lot of fun here. I think we're going to meet up for one more episode, and that's going to be the biggie, the receipts
That's the
episode.
receipts episode.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So stay tuned for that. That's going to be really, really something to see.
And the episode with Beth.
What? One of y'all should narrate it like a movie trailer.
Yeah.
We should have taken Gina's episode and muted out her voiceover, and I could have just voiced it over and said, "Oh, and this is where they lied about." And just showed the whole thing,
But
with
then
the
you would listen. Then by then you would have said lie so many times that it would no longer be acceptable in any course of the
Then
words.
you would have to come up with different
You'd be
synonyms.
playing what's
Lies,
that? Drink, drank,
false.
drunk.
All right, are you closing this or?
Yeah. Alrighty, guys. So thank you guys so much for being here. Allie, thank you for, basically showing all the emotion and, giving us the raw take of how it is. Being this close and yet being so far, it's, one of those things that becomes extremely surreal. And, I'm really glad that you were able to share that with us, and I'm glad we were able to do that here. And Kyle as well. Thank you, Kyle, for coming in and, giving your, opinion on what you've seen here. I know it can be hard and triggering at times to see certain things. Again, this was something that, we haven't watched it since the beginning when it first came out. And watching it again for us has been pretty hard. But watching it for you, I think you said you only got a few minutes in, right?
The second time, it was the second time watching it. The first time, because I bought the episode,
Right.
to watch it. So I watched it on my own when it came out. Hadn't seen it since. Then when you told me that we were doing this project, I'm like, okay, I gotta sit back and watch it again. But because knowing what I know now, because I spoke to you and I spoke to Allie and I spoke to Gina, it was really hard to really watch it without without pointing things out. Yeah. And I'm like, thankfully I live by myself, because if I still lived with family, I'd be that annoying family member that wanted to pause every few seconds, like this is false, and let me tell you why. Right. Even though my parents would listen, my parents would listen. I told them what I saw when I was at your wedding, and when I was at your house that year. Yeah. And my mom was like, she wasn't all that surprised, but she was happy at the time that this was happening. Once she found out what had happened afterwards, she was just she really just felt for you and for you and your family. She's never watched that episode, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, just know you got people out here to actually believe you. So I'm glad I'm able to be here with a with a non-biased opinion, and be able to really look through the what's the word? No, the behind the curtain.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, even being a part of that behind the curtain, it's crazy.
And thank you to you, husband, for not only do we watch it, then we watch it again, then you go back and you have to edit it, and you do a great job. You work really hard to get it out. You're really just, you put a lot of hard work into this project, and from start to finish, you know, you've watched now this episode probably more than any of us have, and it's not easy for you. So
Right.
thank you for all your hard work that you put into this, because you put a lot into it too.
Thank you. Before this becomes an award show, I think this is a good place to end it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing this everywhere that you can. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.
Bye.